This Warriors Live Podcast 2024, episode 43. Will Evans and Brad Larking here, back on the correct schedule, breaking down another Warriors loss on a Monday. We could have just done an audio only one, but Brad said he was feeling extra handsome today, so we better make the most of it.
Oh, you cocksucker. I did not say that, and that's a good stitch up. I'm good, thanks, Will. Hey, I'm stoked to be here. Really stoked to dig into this game. What a weekend. How you been?
Let off some steam. Yeah, pretty good, bro. Fuck, it's nice to be back on a fairly normal schedule. It was pretty hectic. Canterbury Rugby League grand final week for me. Love getting into that grassroots stuff, but man, it was a big week and a massive day yesterday. Huge crowd out at Ngā for the 4 grand finals, and yeah, it was good actually. Biggest crowd I've seen down there. Got to watch the Division 1, which is the third tier grand final with Frank Endicott standing on the bank, which was good times. And yeah, a great women's grand final. Sydenham Swans getting up, Eastern Eagles taking out the Canterbury Cup Premier Reserves, and culminating in an epic premiership grand final. Hornby Panthers holding off Horsell Hornets. And yeah, massive comeback. It was 20-0 at halftime to the Panthers. Hornets came storming back. Josh Everett hat-trick. And they held on 2018, the Panthers. So a huge one. The 44-year-old Corey Laurie, the 2007 Warriors player, still charging ahead for the Panthers. Might be his last game yesterday. His brother coaches the team, and it was definitely his last game in charge. So a lot of emotion around for the Panthers, and a well-deserved win for them. But yeah, good day out there. Bit of grassroots footy, mate.
Good weather. Good day.
Yeah, good day actually for mid August was actually pretty good. Got a bit chilly towards the end of the last game.
Yeah,
my poor little fingers were getting a bit numb typing up that last match report. But other than that, yeah, it was about as good as you could hope for. Not too windy.
Yeah,
decent.
And then you had pre-recorded that and were hiding from notifications from us in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Take the chat somewhere else, please. I'm trying to work.
Yeah, I'm sitting. So the Warriors game kicked off at 4. It was only halfway through the last grand final. So I'm sitting there writing up my match report, and all these WhatsApp notifications popping up in the corner of the laptop. Brad Larking and Mike Minogue messaging each other. It's like, oh God, what the hell is happening in this game? Got to get me out of this chat. Drove all the way back out to Amberley and watched a roller coaster of a game. I don't know if it would have been worse watching live or not, but take us through it, Brad. What were your experiences?
It was intense. I'd almost chucked the towel in by halftime and was just sort of watching to make myself watch, forcing myself to see something. I thought something horrible was going to happen in the second half. I thought we're going to get a thumping. But Jesus, it's a roller coaster. As pumped as you were, it was a roller coaster. There was a bit there where I was really thinking, might have been 15 minutes out. I was like, shit, we're gonna win this one. But then, of course, there was another cock-up area. Both teams were trying their best to lose it. God, either of them should have been put away by 30 by anyone else. But yeah, it was just another. It wasn't pretty to watch. Far out. I'd hate to say it, we're one of the most boring watches, and when it comes to NRL teams going around at the moment.
Yeah, relying on kicks to get our tries until I started playing a bit of footy in the last sort of 25. But you'd be furious if you're a Dolphins fan as well. Besides getting the win, I mean, throwing away a 14-point halftime lead, 26-12 with 22 to go, and then you let this ragtag bunch from Auckland run you down when your final spot is on the line. They're still on the rope. I think they're going to fall out of the 8 just because of the toughness of their draw, but they had to win that one, and they did everything they could to lose it.
The long
it was dramatic. I mean, it must have been a great watch for a neutral, but it was horrific as a fan of one club.
What summed up the whole game really, 10 seconds, a 10-second period summed up the whole game. Leotawa, line break, out in the clear, and then 2 minutes later drops it on line clear in front of him. That summed up the afternoon. Both
the next play.
Dropped it stone cold with it in front of him. Like it's not as if he dropped the pass. He had hold of the ball and then dropped it, didn't he?
Yeah, and then got KO'd by by his teammate. It's
but
incredible.
At least it kept you engaged anyway. Even if it was almost hilarious sometimes, some of the stuff going on out there. But far out. Just another one, eh?
Yeah, I'll dig into it a bit further in a sec. I just want to tell you about this, Brad. So Ruth was going to wait until I got home to watch the replay.
Yeah.
And then I found all of this out later. As far as I knew, I got home, Ruth had no idea about anything that happened to do with the game. So we sat there and watched the full 84 minutes of it. Didn't think anything was awry. After the game, she said, that's my second time watching that. And so she'd been at her parents' place, couldn't handle it anymore, started listening to the Sens commentary, which I think was maybe early in the second half. Got home, it's like, I've got to keep watching this. It sounds too exciting. Watch the rest of it. Watch Golden Point. Got a phone call from me during Golden Point to clarify what pizza I was picking up. So she was keeping it together. She was on the phone to me. And then watched it all. I was like, man, how could you watch that twice? That's horrific. She's like, yeah, I wish I didn't have to, but
what's wrong with her head,
man? I had no idea whatsoever, and it's made me think, what else is she lying about?
Yeah, no shit. She's
pulled the wool over my eyes.
Just lied to your face consistently. Oh yeah,
a little too good at it.
Get away with it. Yeah, what else is she up to? We'll get the boys to keep an eye on her,
mate. It's been quite the turnaround for Ruth. She only watched bits and pieces in seasons past. Now she's a full-blown fan. And even though the season's gone to shit, she sits there and watches the whole thing. She's almost more of a culprit for scaring the dog than I am.
Yeah. Is she really? Is she getting vocal? Tracy's way more vocal than me now. Way more. Like yesterday, I removed myself from the lounge and I just sat on my bed and watched it in the room by myself because I can't handle the noise and the screaming and yelling. And yeah, she's into it. I'm sort of way more passive these days. I don't want
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Trace, by the way.
Yeah, Stace.
Got anything special planned, bro?
No, we took her out for brekkie. She got a new trundler, like a little wheelbarrow to get her electric fence. It's what she got. Get her electric fences and that around. No, she was using all weekend, little trolley loads. It's like a kid's little trolley, but it's an adult one. And then the mother-in-law's cooking lamb tonight. Nice little lamb roast.
Oh, nice.
She's well looked after today. Yeah.
Not bad for a Monday birthday.
Nah. What did you think of it after all said and done and you had watched it?
I was just like, I think, maybe I was just a bit worn out of I think my player ratings in the match summary accompanying it were probably a bit more on the negative side, where it seems like most people were kind of proud of the comeback. I just felt like it was another chapter in a bit of a dog's breakfast of a year that's all but done. As far as finals chances and all that, and just a bit bumbling again, and as you said, just pretty boring to watch. No shortage of effort, but execution horrible, game plan pretty pedestrian, and attack woeful, and some big defensive lapses. I mean, you can be pretty stoked about a comeback when it's against a good team. But then, a team that's doing everything they can to hand it to you and then to fall short at the end. Again, our ability in the clutch with, setting up for a field goal and taking pretty decent opportunities, falling way short again. And then fucking Sean O'Sullivan, 12-game warrior, fourth string Dolphins half comes off the bench and buries a 41-meter field goal. Never kicked one in his life. Well, certainly not in first grade. And yeah, that was just the capper for me. I said some pretty feral things when it was him. When it was him, I could handle a Sarko doing it, but not that little prick. Yeah, but good on you, Sean O'Sullivan. Good honest footballer, and hell of a strike.
It was. Shit, it was. Far out. I'm starting to liken. You know what? I've got a theory, Will, and you're right. I'll touch on that try of Leo Otawa's. That was a horrendous pass that dribbled along the ground that he to pick up and go. Even Tamaides,
he got a try assist for that as well, the Jamie bastard.
Did he? Yeah. But even that chip kick that he put through was the most ungainly one, and it was meant for someone else, and he managed to scramble and get it himself for his try. It's all pretty haphazard, isn't it? We're just jagging. Yeah, it's. I don't know. I've got a theory, bro. I got a theory. I had a big night Friday night, so hangovers were forefront of my mind all weekend. Hear me out. This year has been like the day after a great night on the piss. You know what I mean? And the great night being on the piss being last year. So 2023. Yeah, and you know those parties that you don't even realize should turn into, like, all of a sudden there's a good group of people there, and we're like, oh, should we just have another one and another one, and all out of nowhere this insane best party ever. You know what I'm talking about, eh? Just those impromptu
take it to
ones.
4 a.m. Take it to 4 a.m. Everyone's having a good laugh.
Yeah, no harm, no foul. No one gets in the shit. No one. Yeah, it's a great time. And then this year, so that's the night out. That was a good night out, man. This year, start of this year, you wake up, you're still half pissed from the night before, so everything's still good in your mind, and you're in the lounge pissing. You say, "Fuck, how was Dallin last night, mate? He was just flying in the corner. How was Sean, man? How was Sean dancing with that chick? Fuck, he was awesome too." You know, he's still hungover, and you got the little bit of the dropsies, but you just laugh it off because it's just a hangover from a great night out. But then all of a sudden, mid-season, that's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The hangover is real all of a sudden. You're a little bit grumpy. You're finding bruises on your body. All of a sudden injuries are setting. It's like, how did I get this bruise on my shin? Vaguely remember walking into a tow bar. So that's mid-season. The hangover.
Like my 40th, when all of a sudden everyone's telling you about how you walked into the window.
Yeah, I had no recollection. I wonder still to this day if it even happened. But yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying there? And now that's you in the middle, you're just hungover, grumpy.
The anxiety starts creeping in. The regret. The disappointment in yourself.
Yeah, you've got no confidence. No confidence is down. You don't want to text anyone or ring anyone. Yeah, that's all-time low.
You start thinking about how you probably should have a couple of months off the piss.
Yeah. So that's that injury. That's the middle of our season this year. And sure as shit, late in the season now, all you're thinking about is at the end of the day, after being hungover, is just getting to bed, fucking going to sleep, and hoping tomorrow will be a little bit better. Tomorrow being next season. That's where I'm at.
Going to sleep being the beautiful summer without any footy on.
Yeah, just fucking tired, man. I'm tired, man.
It has been great. Last year it was tiring but it was like, you know, a euphoric ride. But this year's just been it's been a grind, man.
Just slowly coming to the realization. Slowly coming to the realization that we haven't actually been good since round one. Our form now is pretty much the same. Yeah, that Sharks game.
A lot of similarities. There's been a couple of good points. I think, you know, how we felt after we pumped South. Obviously, that 3-game winning streak where second string side beat Penrith and the Dolphins, and then got a few back, and we went and thrashed the Cowboys in Townsville.
That was nice.
Very, very proud after that Bulldogs Golden Point loss, although that was devastating. But other than that, geez, it's been disappointing.
Do you reckon that little cluster there is where you've shot down to KFC and got a Zinger Burger combo and you're feeling all right for
Yeah.
15 minutes? Bit of
Yeah.
food, and then the hangover really kicks in again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That was a nice little period, but it was still the unknown, wasn't it? Because all of a sudden we had big name injuries trying to fit back into what we thought was our best team at that time, and just been a year of confusion.
And we thought it was going to click, and it just hasn't. I think we certainly didn't get duped into it, but saw some pretty big danger signs in the wins over Brisbane and the Tigers, who were terrible at the time and badly depleted and pretty unimpressive wins. They just papered over some pretty big cracks, and yeah, been found out. I mean, again, you could take yesterday's loss and the good points from it if it wasn't up against 7 losses from our previous 9 or whatever. But yeah, it just gets a bit frustrating week after week, and I still don't know how they found themselves in that situation. And good on them for fighting back and hanging into it. And I love the energy and the attitude when they were, Dimitri Sifakula scoring a try, and Adam is all over him, looking like a little kid. Certainly not a guy that's marking time until he leaves the club, and that was all great to see. But it just, if you take last year out of it, this team's so much like 2019 Warriors, or like there's plenty of spirit there, but no one was really willing to give them much leeway for for gutsy efforts or tight losses, or it's purely on the back of last year and Andrew Webster and all of that, and I guess the promise of some of our young guys for the seasons in the future. But I don't know, realistically, man, I feel like we're in for a couple of tough years, especially without someone, an obvious candidate to be this team's general. Our halves, we've got about 7 5/8 and no halfbacks. There's no one to steer this team around against anyone decent. We'll get our wins against the shit teams and finish 12th.
Doesn't that suck? Doesn't that suck?
Yeah.
But it's hard to see. It's hard to see where change. Like, I think we got slapped. We were banging on about MGMT so long, and then in that game where we sort of got it shoved in our face that this kid needs a bit more time in the lower grades before he's going to do anything up here. And they had to call. And Fonz has always banged on about that, and rightly so. I think I learned that with Telfer Graham in this year, but. It sucks. We need an injection in the halves, and we need some pace. Sifakula, I did enjoy him. Geez, it's like he's cut out of the same mold as Fanua Blake. I'd love to know if he's got a bit of badass in him. Is he a bit of a mongrel, a bit of a alpha?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him to see whether he's got that in him. But he's come back from ACL, dominating New South Wales Cup, and for his first hit out, I think was Magic Round last year, or I think he might have played another game or so after that before getting injured. Maybe Napier against the Broncos was the last game, but well over a year and out of first grade, and to come back and in 12 minutes do what he did, 5 big runs, a try, kind of like the Zion Mau cameo, and some of the things we've seen from Halasima. Pretty small sample size, but really promising to have all these young guys that just
that's a good trio of forwards, isn't it? And that's it. We're just bridging the gap at the moment. Gee whiz, we're still a chance though. Didn't you do some digging?
I did.
We want to touch on that later.
Just because I don't want to start. I mean, we're not going to make it, but this whole mathematical thing is obviously a big deal, and I wanted to just see if we could still mathematically make it, and we can, and it's not that crazy.
I thought we were out. I thought that was it for some reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're still only 5 points out of the 8. yeah, we got to win all 3 of our games, which is probably the toughest part of it. At Manly this Friday, then Bulldogs at home, and then the suddenly good again Sharks in the last round. But
awesome.
all winnable. Yeah, just whipping through. I mean, we need the Dolphins to keep losing. So yeah, but they've got the Bulldogs this weekend. Probably want the Cowboys to take care of the Raiders. That's fairly easy to see. I've got the Titans beating the Dragons. They're a bit pesky, and the Sharks beating the Knights this week. That's the Knights are another team that are hanging around there like a bad smell.
Yeah, Pong is back
but
now.
other than that, I'm just going to run you through any results that that a bit 50-50 or unlikely that we kind of need to happen. I mean, we pretty much just need everything to go as you'd expect in round 25, except for the Warriors beating the Bulldogs. Round 26, Bulldogs beating Manly. Manly kind of, I think they're pretty much home and hose, so forget about that one. Probably Broncos beating the Dolphins, and but maybe that's inconsequential anyway. Titans beating the Knights. Now that might be a bit of a tricky one. We just need the Knights to be dropping a few games. That's in round 26. And or alternatively, the Dolphins beating the Knights in the last round.
Dolphins beating the Knights.
Other than that, man.
So okay, so in the
maybe
8,
Raiders beating the Dragons as well. So that's just the Storm beating the Broncos in the last round as well. Broncos finding form again last week. Basically, it's their 8th spot, which the Dolphins have sort of edged back into.
Yeah.
I don't see them making it just because their draw's so tough. But yeah, and then we just sort of need to start squeezing past Canberra, Knights, Dragons. I mean, again, the hardest part for us is winning those 3 games.
yeah.
But yeah, it's not as I just think we're going to see, because everyone sort of said, the cutoff last year was 32, so that's what you're aiming for. But I think it's going to be a lot lower this year.
Yeah, I think it will be lower.
Like I think a team's going to get into the 8 with 20, 28, 29 points potentially.
Oh, do you?
30 will be the max that your 8th place team gets. So yeah.
So we've got hope for one more weekend. If we lose this weekend, is the mathematical chance gone? Surely. God, we seem to be hanging. Yeah, same. This is just so much work at the moment. Just want to go to bed, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So we got Manly be going all right, eh?
Yeah, they're in a bit of a. No, they won by mile in the end. They were
that's right.
in a bit of a dogfight in Canberra. It looked like it was going to be an absolute barn burner. Canberra up for it and needed a win. 12 all seconds before halftime, and then they scored 6 unanswered tries in 22 minutes. 46-12 all of a sudden. Ended up 46-24 Raiders with a couple of late tries, but yeah. They pile on quick points, which does not bode well. I mean, some of the teams that we've been blowing it against, like the Dolphins, like the Eels the week before, at home, we got to go to Manly, contain Tom Trbojevic, Daly Cherry is a very quick young back line with the teenage Hopewadi. Tommy Talau's having a big season. Garrick and Saab, plenty of pace. So I don't know. I think, we're matching it. We're still matching every team up front. We're still winning the meters count every week, post-contact meters. So yeah. But there's some pretty big misses.
We're slow.
Yeah, we're a slow back line, slow halves, slow fullback, and it's coming up with some pretty big misses on the edges and defense as well.
That one of Kate Wells on the weekend was a shocker. What was he doing?
Well, I actually didn't.
Was it Barnett? Was it more Barnett inside him that cocked him up? I don't know.
They kind of created the extra man, and I think that
what was Barnett he doing that far behind Barnett though?
Well, because he was in the centres, but he was marking his centre, and it was the second rower that steamed through. I think Capewell did look like he was a bit out of position, but I think
Was
Kaufusi
that
goes through the whole regardless of what Capewell does.
Was that during the HIA?
Just not sliding across. Maybe Sifakula a little bit lazy on the inside, and Barnett had to stick with, was it Nikodema that put him away? But yeah, again, you look at someone like Nikodema who's had a big bounce back year for the Dolphins, and you know that just extra yard or two of pace that he plays with, and a bit more direct, and you know our halves just aren't creating that space often enough. Like, it was a lovely little line break assist from Martin to Leotawa for that long break. But you know, that was about the first time in the game where it didn't look clunky and telegraphed, and you know, like we could only score from a kick. So
I know you probably haven't got it in front
where points come from,
because we were over them. They weren't getting any meters coming out of their half. If you deleted some of those long range tries for their run meters in that game, we must have dominated them there. So the forwards were doing their job, weren't they? Oh, not so much the forwards. I thought it's your back five getting out of there a lot of the time, but forwards in the defense were pumping them. It was brutal. It just,
I think, I mean, they did score from long way out. Obviously, that one from the battered down kick, go 95 meters. There was the long range try that Averillo set up for. I'm not sure who that was I can't remember. But Averillo made the break. From about halfway, he'd Kossi jamming in, and he got around Ali Leotawa as well. But when are we scoring tries like that? Fucking never.
No, we don't. And even last year, we weren't really scoring them, were we?
No, we're just we were just so clinical inside the 20, whereas we're not now.
Yeah.
And saying that, we managed to score 32 points yesterday, largely from kicks, and that's not going to happen every week. Teams are going to get better.
Yeah, by Christ, it got excited in that second half. You're like, oh, here we go. And like a couple of things swung our way, and we had the opportunity to actually take it. It was, I thought, as soon as we went to frigging Golden Point, though, I was like, no one has the capability. Or you look at who you've got as your options to nudge one over compared to who they had. And then all of a sudden, O'Sullivan deletes the two favourites to get the 1 point. And the friggin' leprechaun nudges one over. Yeah.
You just saw it. Like, I mean, as soon as we went to Golden Point, even when it was tied up, I was like, we're not going to win this. To Ruth. Like, you know, they've got Osako. I just don't, you know, even without, and it proved true. It was the only difference between that and the Bulldogs game is that that Tamati Martin didn't get illegally poleaxed, but there was another two misses from Chanel. You know, bit of pressure on him, but decent looks. And I guess the disappointing thing was he sprayed the shit out of them. They were so far off.
It's like he hit them with his lowest shin, eh?
Yeah, the first one. I've never seen so much backspin on a ball. And then the other one, pretty bad hook. But, you know, field goals are fucking hard to kick. But
some people
surely
yeah.
And, you know, that's surely part of your team training these days, is setting up for that and kicking under pressure. And
hey! Maybe it's not.
They haven't been practicing.
You keen on starting a little coaching drop goal clinic?
Do you reckon that we'd be good at it?
Contract ourselves out to the Warriors. No, all we need to do is just pass it to him, and he's nudging them over. You can try and charge him down, and I'll pass him, and we'll just take him aside for 2 hours a week. Yeah, well, let's see if we can get a little contract. Just be good to get tracks. Just to get a tracksuit would be rad. But anyway,
we could do it as a commission kind of thing, and we get paid per field goal.
Golden Point win. Yeah. You're not stupid there, because you don't want it just to be a one-off. You want it to be reoccurring, don't you? Yeah. Now, we'll talk about it off here.
I might whip through this play ratings, and I hadn't really thought about it before I did it until I was doing it, but it was the lowest high ranking of the season, the lowest high ranking and the highest low ranking for a loss. Everyone was just very middle of the road. That the ones that did have good moments had some terrible moments, and then no one was. utterly bad. But yeah, just one where no one really stood out. Don't know how you're going to pick a man of the match, or give out any Dally M points to our boys. But they all tried hard. Chance 243 meters. Dallin, I thought, was pretty quiet. Again, that ball is not getting within cooey of him on attack. Actually, I did see a stat at halftime. We'd had 17 tackles inside their 20. They had 3, and we were down 3 tries to 1. But yeah, I mean, Tomato can't get that right side going. Ali Ladbrokes. Yeah, carry on, bro. We can talk. That's a bit of dead air there.
No, I was just thinking that Tamati kept running out of time to get the ball out to him, end up having to go into the line himself and die with the ball. Hadn't even got to the centre, let alone
24 runs, Tamati.
Yeah.
Which isn't crazy for a halfback.
I just don't know if he's quick enough to get it to deliver that out there.
Yeah. And he looks way more comfortable playing on the right. As a first receiver on that side, which when we're so much, we've got a lot of strike on that right hand side. So
yes.
Roger didn't barely saw it on attack.
No,
Dallin definitely didn't get it. With any meaningful part of the field. Leotoa, real mixed bag. I was kind of excited though. 147 meters. That's the most that he's made in first grade. Couple of bad moments on both sides of the ball, and as we said, the bomb try, but that line break, I just feel like with more time in first grade, he's got by far the highest ceiling of our outside backs and could become a really good player. Like, got banged on about outside backs for years and years, and how we seem to be, or the club seems to be, satisfied with middle of the road sort of players and a lack of strike. He's one that turns all that on its head.
Other than Egan from dummy half, we haven't seen too many people punching through a line in the Warriors jersey this year like that and get into a bit of clear space, having options either side.
Yeah,
you just don't get it. Yeah, so no, that's why I wasn't even that wild with the drop.
No, I was like,
try. I was like, bugger. Yeah, bugger.
It would have been so good to cap off what he'd done with a well-deserved try and a very quick double. And just someone that makes something happen to grab that try out of nothing. Like, it was a nice little pickup of a bouncing ball. Just good to see. And he's only half a dozen games in top grade. Roger, I'm going to sort of bundle this up. So 237 meters, unbelievable for a centre. 117 post contact. Had a tough time with Herbie Farnworth. Really bad miss for his second try in the second half there. Shocking call against him for that fucking high tackle. Whoa, what's going on?
What type of pussy was that ref, Far out.
Yeah. But again, I'm just going to bundle this up with Big Ed. So I thought Big Ed was actually all right. That jam in was bad, but really good try, actually. One of his better in first grade.
I thought it was a great try.
And, did his runs. I thought he was okay. Nothing, 3 handling errors. I don't really remember those. They weren't sort of horrific ones, but I just really don't understand. We talked about it with Corey and Keith on Teamless Tuesday, dropping Moala Graham Tulfa as much as he had a not a good game against Parramatta, to bring Ed Cossey in. Ed Cossey's not a long-term solution, and abandoning the Roger experiment on the wing after one game. So he's played 2 games on the wing this year, scored 2 tries, 1 on each side of the field. That seemed to be the way he was trying to head when he, got sort of the team he wanted, and then abandons it after 1 week and chucks him back in the centres, which, I really didn't understand that. Maybe if it was Montoya coming back or whatever, but I just didn't understand bringing Big Ed in for Moala Graham Tulfa. That seemed like a backward step for me. MGT will, get better. Might stunt his development a bit, getting dropped after a game like that.
Jesus, it's stunting Roger's development. All this shit that's going on. Roger's just getting farmed around. Poor bastard just keeps smiling and getting on with his job.
He's playing the same spot 2 weeks in a row. I don't know, man. That's been one of the and you never come away thinking, geez, Roger played shit, but he He's had a couple of good games at fullback. Otherwise, it's just you just haven't quite seen what you'd expect from him.
Nah, he's not an X factor where he's been playing.
No. And then sort of getting shown up by one of the best centres in the game was a bit glaring. You fully realise that you don't have a genuine centre there.
Just grasping at thin air, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he had nothing.
We talked about the halves. I thought they were all over the show, and just neither shown a great deal of authority. I think it all gets a bit mixed up. Who's the leader of this team when Chanel, obviously with the bigger boot, is doing most of the general play kicking, but it's not like he's Matt Burden.
It's because he can kick it another 6 meters, eh?
Yeah. And then Tamati, I don't know, he's getting a lot of touches, but not a lot of, and those kicks, they produce points, but there's not really a feasible game plan long term. I thought the attack from passing point of view that was just really pedestrian against one of the shittest defenses in the comp. Mind you, they've been hemorrhaging points for months, and we really only scored the bouncing ball pass try, and then the hot potato one. Those aren't really, as Fonz would say, repeatable skill.
Fair enough.
You can't plan to score tries like that. But and then they both try hard. I love them both. They're both fucking good.
Same. That's the problem with them. I want them to be good enough. I really do want them to be good enough, but at the moment they're not. And you're right. They do. We've got a lot of the same player, don't we? Did Metcalf play in the weekend?
Did he get apparently. I haven't seen anything on New South Wales Cup. They had a good win, but I just hadn't seen any stats come up. It was only the scorers, but we'll go into
we'll touch on that after. Yeah, sorry, where were we up to? Halves.
I did want to ask you, from all indications, Sean will be right for this trip to Manly. So, I mean, for me, maybe it's because I can't wait to see him again, or as much as possible before he hangs out the boots. But surely that's the right option.
So I missed that. What was the go? I missed that, and I didn't even work out why. Quad
injury, yeah. So just wasn't right.
Is this a new injury? Because isn't it been Achilles? Oh, that's awesome! Yeah. Great news. But they reckon he's right for this weekend. Injury.
Yeah. I mean, just precautionary, I guess, and don't want to send him in a little bit underdone. And
so, what was the question?
Bulldogs game. The right thing to do to bring him back if he's fit. And follow-up question is who you're partnering him with. I mean, we saw Tamati get dropped. You go with Harris Davida as much as they had a bit of a shocker against the Eels. Well, he did.
Yeah, I know. And he did. He
Metcalf, if he's had a couple of, do you just go, fuck it, let's try and bring that 2023 magic back? They haven't been playing well enough to totally rule out just bringing Metcalf in off a bit of a short run up.
No, they haven't. I'll deliver you my answer at team naming tomorrow night, prior to team naming, because that's a lot to digest when you bring in Metcalf into the equation as well. I just don't know. And then why not Tane Taupiki in there somewhere as well? Jesus, it's poor little bugger.
Yeah. Well, I honestly am not convinced that he's not the best half that we're going to have at the club next year.
Or not that he's not the best half, but in combination with what we've got. You know what I mean? Like in combination with what we've got. He could be, that could be the yin and yang that we need.
Yeah.
But it's a bit cool.
Moving on through the rest of the lineup, Adam Fanua-Blake over 200 meters. I thought he was really good again. Didn't
couple of silly knock-ons.
A couple of cold drops, but I mean, big work rate. I thought for me, I thought that was a good sign that he's going to finish, giving it his all. And Mitch Barnett, another one who had a couple of errors, but just goes so hard. Even
Jeez,
early on,
Katoa was
that
going
chicken.
after him, wasn't
Yeah,
he? That little
yeah,
shit was. I bet you they had a nice, good, strong handshake at the end, and well done, young
yeah,
man, because he
yeah,
put in
yeah,
that little half against Mitch in that second half. He was trying to thump him.
yeah. But I thought, even on the kick chase, he came up with the ball in the first half, then put
Mm,
an unexpected kick into the end goal. Then, he's the guy that's standing onto the grubber and earning the penalty try to send it into Golden Point. It was just all effort. Again, big captain's knock. Wade Egan, man, for me, he's been one of the disappointments of the year individually. I just think
oh,
he's sort of come back so far into the pack as far as the game's hookers go. And I know that the team's not going well, but our pack's going pretty good.
Fords were,
And
yeah,
I don't know, and he's not. The amount of times where he just fire off a cutout ball to a forward who had defenders all over him, as a fourth, fifth tackle attacking
yeah,
play.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. But that's
They
the
got on
time
my
when you
nerves.
want. Yeah. And when you see a guy like obviously very different style of player, and Egan's top end attacking is very different and much more subtle and classier. But Max Plath, I mean,
Yeah, what a
there's a
game.
time when there's certainly a place in a team for just an absolute maniac at hooker that tackles everything. He made 63 tackles, busting the line. He sent old mate away for that, Farmworth away for that length of the
Yeah,
field
what a
try.
competitor, eh? He's a
Yeah, I
mini
love him. He's
version
one of
of
my favourite
Mitch
players.
Barnett.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, no, he's
competitive as
bloody good.
shit. Yeah. Yeah, Egan has been battling. He hasn't been piss poor either. It
No,
hasn't
but
quite been working from like the rest of the. It hasn't quite been. Those fourth and fifth tackle passes, like some of them where they just die off the ball after bit of promise.
we're
You're like, oh,
using
fuck, come on, man.
soaking up a lot of tackles with forwards, just going one out. Nukorte, another one who's my patience is starting to wear a bit thin with, again, not never having a bad game, but never really standing out. Again, potential that sort of right side attack is not really functioning very well, and
No,
his
it's
work
not.
was not fine. But he's a big beast of a unit. He's mobile enough to play in the centres. He's an absolute hulk, and you'd probably just not getting the same sort of impact that you would like to see.
Yeah, he seems to be running into people a lot these days rather than holes.
Yeah. Capewell, another try, another stint in the centres, another decent work rate. Thought he was actually all right. Dylan Walker, weird sort of, I don't know if it was a brain fade, but when Plath did put Farnworth away, he was just sort of standing there like a spear prick at a wedding.
I don't know if
Just
I
let it get away
remember
from him.
that.
I don't know if he thought someone else was making the tackle, or I don't know. It just stood out to me. Good work rate again. Ridiculous sim binning.
Fucking
I mean,
joke.
come on.
And
If
then
you're
they
going to
get to
rule
use
that,
the 18th man, because that
yeah,
guy missed the game due to foul
yeah.
play. It's like, hang on, his leg got turned into the shape of an S, and
Yeah,
that's not
because
why he's.
it looked like Walker was totally stationary when Nichols hit him, like penalty, and he did.
Yeah.
He did miss the rest of the game, Nichols. So I guess that's the
But
case
not
that you
because
could
of a
make.
head
But I didn't know
injury,
that.
though, was it? Wasn't it because
No,
his
I think
leg
it
got
was.
fucking. Was it because of the?
No, I
I
think it
reckon.
was.
I call bullshit on that. See his leg? It's
Yeah.
like he was one of those dudes trying to rollerblade under a car, limboing under a car. It was folded back like a lawn chair.
So not my favourite game of D Walks since he's taken over at number 13. Tom Ale only 18 minutes. Fred Delasic missed the boat completely with Egan playing the whole game. We've talked about Sifakula, great little cameo. Jazz again, I thought he was great.
Yeah. And he
39
done well
minutes,
to
101 meters, 34 tackles, massive work rate, and no errors or penalties. How I can't believe they can't find a contract for him.
No errors in penalties. Sorry, that's what I was rudely interrupting about. There was a couple of times where you thought, oh shit, Jazz going to give away a classic penalty here.
Yeah.
And he pulled away and tempered himself on a couple of different occasions. I was like, fuck, here we
Maybe
go. Oh, no.
maybe he's thinking, what would those
Yeah.
recruitment managers
His
think if I
auditioning.
lost the plot here?
Yeah, just playing different characters for a couple of weeks, like auditioning for a role. Maybe I try the
But I
good guy
think
this
he
week.
has really got he's
He's got a
cut
lot
that
to.
sort of thing down
Yeah.
out of his game this year. Tough start to the year, and I think he's been pretty good discipline-wise, error-wise.
Yeah.
Probably that game against the Titans is the only one that stands out as a forgettable day for him. But I think he's been one of our best over this tough sort of 5 or 6 weeks. And I don't want to say it's because he came on the podcast, but what else could it be, Brad?
Does make huge difference.
I hear Graham Lowe's absolutely flying actually after being on the podcast. So yeah, might be getting back into coaching.
Has that come out? Has that come out?
Yeah, I think they're just waiting to dot the I's and cross the T's. But yeah, Todd Payton's feeling the pinch. Expect an announcement next week or two. Yeah, in the end, some positives, no major negatives individually. Probably the hardest is the long term sort of concern out of looking at them with a fine tooth comb. But yeah,
it's not pretty.
New South Wales Cup, Brad. 28-10 over South Sydney out there in Takanini yesterday. Fourth, right, we are on the ladder. Pretty handy. I'm just saying, we've got. I was just thinking. I
was thinking yesterday, when is the New South Wales Cup team going to take priority over the number ones and start pulling players down from the first grade to make sure they get a decent position for the finals? I got no problem with that.
No, well, I mean, why? Yet there is that sort of school of thought, and I've had it, messaged to me a little bit like, season's fucked. Blood the new guys. Firstly, I don't think it's Andrew Webster's MO. Secondly, I don't think it's, and I don't really think there's anyone that's glaringly obvious should be axed.
Nah.
So I don't think it's probably that great for their development to be shoehorned into the deep end in a team that's fucking battling
for a couple of weeks.
And I don't think Webster does either. And thirdly, that New South Wales Cup team is flying. Get those combinations going because, geez, they've barely put the same combination on the park 2 weeks in a row. The amount of, and I guess that happens across the whole competition, but the amount of guys that play in a different position to what their jersey on Tuesday says. But yeah, I'll just run you through some of the more salient points there, Brad. Motu Posakala, I can't wait to see this guy develop. Still a teenager, scoring tries. He scored the first one the other night. Team high 181 meters. Carving it up.
Does he play?
Winger. And he's just re-signed last week until the end of 2027.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, real long-term wing option. Just seems to have that X factor. Seems just like a real natural, and just a lot of strike. I mean, you see how that translates to the top grade. But our man Moala Graham Telfer dropping back down to reserve grade, 164 meters, a try assist. 4 tackle breaks. Good to see Setu 2, another big game, 174 meters, 6 tackle breaks. Ben Farr named at centre, ending up playing at fullback, a try, 177 meters. It was Hansen and Metcalf in the halves together. So Metcalf getting the full 80 after what was apparently. I didn't actually see much of him in his 40 minutes. I saw the second half of that game last week, but all accounts he was quite good in that. Played the full 80 here, 8 runs, 77 meters, 2 try assists. That's very encouraging, and did most of the kicking. So
I can't even remember what the dude plays like.
The big question, like, he's come out and said he wants that number 7 next year, and he sees himself as a 7. From his style, I don't, that I've seen in first grade especially, it doesn't strike me as a 7. It strikes me as a running 6. But yeah, if he develops his kicking game, I don't know. He just doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that will run a team. Saw him in the trial here in Christchurch firsthand, and he played halfback here and did the kicking. No, it's his first hit out. I just didn't come away particularly impressed there, but maybe he is our best option there.
Yeah, he'll
Luke
definitely get
Hanson,
a
we did talk a little bit about it, but yeah, over 100 running meters. He's an unlikely looking lad, Luke Hanson, but I wouldn't rule him out of the halves picture next year. Pretty much a full year in our New South Wales Cup team, which has been humming. He's probably been the most regular half in that side. So, yeah.
I can't think of hearing his name before.
Yeah,
What does he look like? Is he
blondie,
like a little Ben Farr
blonde
looking dude? Okay, yeah.
Kind of little chubby,
Yeah, but
chubby cheeks. Yeah,
close enough if you don't watch it every weekend to get them confused. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you take your glasses off, then you might get
Now, if a mate turns up with his kids and you can't remember his names because they sort of look,
that sort of area. All the starting forwards over 100 meters, led by Eddie Iramea Taiava is catching a few eyes there and a couple of tries on the weekend in 152 meters. So it's good to see. Then the usual suspects doing the job. Kalani going, Jacob Laban, Paul Roach apparently had a good game. I think one of might have been Bevan Donovan commenting on the player rating, saying that he whipped out to New South Wales Cup game. I'm just going to double check that just to make sure I'm not crediting the wrong person there, but said that he had a good game. Zion Maiu got a try in 124 meters. Leka Halasima dropped from Sunday's team for Sifakula to come in, but went back obviously with a good attitude. 12 runs, 159 meters, a line break, and 19 tackles. So good to see him, I guess, respond positively to that, and probably a good time to send him back. You're probably not missing too much.
Exactly what I was thinking. You don't want him to start getting down the bottom lip coming out in first grade. Go back and smash some C's for a couple of weeks and then come back.
It was Bevan Donovan. He said he wanted to see how Metcalf in particular went, and said he looked busy, creative, went well, but didn't scream first grade number 7 dominant half. Really impressed with Roach, who played most of the game at hooker. Sean Sexton's actually chimed in on that and said, please tell me you lost your shit when Ed kneed Leotara in the head. I didn't actually click at the time that it was Ed, but it was, I don't want to say classic Ed, but it was classic Ed.
Poor Edward.
I mean, it wasn't really his fault, but geez, Keystone Cop stuff.
It gets in the way.
But yeah, again, I'm really pumped for this New South Wales Cup team, and it'd be a massive kind of boost for the club. Obviously, this season hasn't worked out for a best team. If we could get to a grand final or something in this grade.
Yeah. It'd be nice to follow something through. Definitely. Real nice, especially. Well, eh? What do you reckon?
Yeah.
How's this? How's this? This is part of the hangover. Just look beside me. How's this? This is what we got stuck into. I just randomly come into the bar one day and there's this cardboard box that stunk of under a house and bottles of alcohol. And I just seen a vehicle leaving, couldn't make it out. It was quite mysterious. And it was just full of random alcohol covered in mud. And on Friday night, we had a bit of a knees up here for a mate's leaving too. And we dusted that bottle of ouzo. How old is it? It must be like 70.
It's either really, really old or really
actually,
obscure.
Will it have a date on it? No. What's it say? Just add 2 or 3 parts water or soda to flavor it. Harold's
not drinking straight out of the bottle after
it. Yeah, exactly.
What is ouzo? Does it go off, or it could explain why you're so crook the next day?
I don't know if it goes off. It's alcohol. Alcohol's sweet, isn't it? Doesn't alcohol just stay alcohol? That's my. I don't know, man.
Are you a scientist?
Manufactured in Auckland, though. Manufactured in Auckland.
Okay.
Did you know? Did you think Ouzo was from Greece and you were being quite
Yeah.
you're being sort of worldly drinking Ouzo, but it's actually
You're so
fucking
exotic.
bottled Hughes and Koza Limited, Auckland.
Okay. What was the other one you showed me before?
Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah. See, I don't know if I'd drink this one. Is it open? It's open. It's open. Someone did. Someone did. I don't think this was me. Old Sherry. How's that old bottle?
Sherry. Oh,
someone's
hell.
got it.
Springbok Sherry. That's an old one.
Yeah, South African Springbok Sherry. That's old. Oh, fuck off. Bottled in New Zealand. Bottled in Dunedin. Springbok. See,
man.
Someone got into that on Friday. That's funny.
You better have a scout around the sheets. There's probably someone curled up in the corner somewhere, dying.
Yeah. What if we lost a man? Might have lost a man Friday night. Oh well. Oh well. Well, I've got to get ready for the missus' birthday festivities. What else you got going on?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I got a bit of work to finish off, mate. So I thought it's probably a good place to wrap it up with
We've talked around the subject enough, haven't we? Without actually breaking down what the problem is.
Yeah. We're so despondent, Brad, that we forgot to mention our wonderful sponsors, Kingz Container Crew.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's a bad miss.
Nah,
that's Capewell in the weekend miss that.
Yeah. If you've been watching the video of this, you would have seen their little logo down underneath Brad in the corner there. So still representing. If you have any, you got it, Brad. All of your container packing and unpacking solutions, Kingz Container Crew are the only place to go. KingzContainerCrew.com. Get amongst it. You'd be crazy to go anywhere else, Brad?
Oh, rocks in your head. Bloody rocks in your head.
Yeah, I'm sure if Adam Fanua Blake wants his cargo to make it back to Sydney, he better be going with Kingz Container Crew.
He better be doing it right. Yeah.
Otherwise, he's shopping for a whole new wardrobe. He's buying all new furniture in Australia. He's going to be spending the off season just rebuilding.
And then the container, once he's brought it, the container will then turn up. You just see, you don't want unreliability either, as well as just not getting it. Nah, cheers, Kings boys. You're absolute champions, the Perriers.
Yeah. Same with Ladbrokes. Mix and Pick 8. We'll talk about that a bit more in Teamless Tuesday live podcast tomorrow night.
Jesus,
but A-Train. Yeah, A-Train. Double winner. I actually saw him at the grand final. He's a Horsell Hornets old boy. We met him at the
oh, no shit. Yeah.
He came and said g'day midway through the grand final. He's all fired up amid the Hornets comeback, and picked himself up another t-shirt to.
What's he doing? Is he going to get the missus? Is it a woman? Is he getting the missus one?
Yeah.
Or is he going to take two?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe he'll get another colour. It's up to him, Brad. He won it, so he deserves to make that choice
done. Twice. Jesus. I haven't looked like winning it once. That's a good effort. Oh, well.
But yeah, everyone out there, who are listeners, Patreon supporters especially, join us tomorrow night. We'll check the Facebook page and the YouTube channel for the start time. If we can wrangle Fonz on there. You're not going to see his face, so don't get too excited, but he might be joining us for Teamless Tuesday live pod tomorrow.
He's going to sit backwards. It's just going to be looking at the back of his head.
It'll be like, or maybe he'll do it from behind a fence like Wilson on Home Improvement. You just see his eyes with a hat.
Oh shit!
Hilarious way to introduce him.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, join us then. All those details will be on the Facebook or YouTube channel. You can join us live on Instagram as well, or listen to it or watch it at your leisure afterwards. If you got something better to do.
We don't care how you consume it, as long as you consume it.
Yeah, just get those numbers up for us. Thanks, Brad. Good Monday afternoon shift, buddy. And
cheer, bro. We'll catch up tomorrow.
Make like Kingz Container Crew and pack it up, eh?
Decent.